Hi guys, so today I want to talk about side hustle and some gigs. I've been doing it for a really long time. So I am doing a lot of different apps as a single mom, just trying to find a way to survive. And my goal is to make anywhere between $100 to $200 a day. But at the same time, I have kids and I have other jobs and I do acting and modeling my kids as well. So I try to accommodate and then kids' activities. And so the perfect solution to this is to do side hustle here and there. For instance, today I produced 2 TV shows and then finished editing 3 episodes and then writing article and dropping my daughter off at the play day and bringing some food. And in between, I did DoorDash, I did Instacart, I did Uber and Lyft. So, DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, Instacart, I tend to usually put all the 4 apps on. So, some of the apps had time that is kind of peak. Obviously, DoorDash is breakfast, lunch, and dinner time, and then after 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Especially, I live in suburb. There are only a few restaurants that are open, such as Wendy's and Taco Bell. That's open till 2 a.m. So after they major restaurants close like 10 p.m. and there's a Dunkin' Donuts in Cumberland Farm that's open 24 hours. So sometimes you get like 2 a.m. order for like a dozen of donuts. Maybe somebody's hungry or maybe doing the night shift as well. And there's a shopping, like say Instacart. I love doing Instacart, especially the short distance, because you can see exactly how much you get paid and then how much distance that you have to drive. And then sometimes when you're doing Uber and then Lyft, obviously you cannot stop like when you have a passenger. But Instacart, like you kind of like go to the store and try to find the items, and then sometimes it's very organized because it has aisle number, it's a shelf number. Say one is the bottom and A, B, so aisle 5, A, shelf 3, so you count 1, 2, 3, and then it's very easy to find. You price much and then you scan, and if the item's not there, you find substitute. Sometimes when you hit items are not available, there's some options that you can scan, and if it's not available you can refund or you can suggest something, so you can message customers. So for instance, today one of the customer wanted Macintosh Apple, but it wasn't there, so I messaged him, I'm sorry, there's no Macintosh. And then I took a picture of the Apple aisle and he chose I think crispy cosmic, I have no idea, some apple. So sometimes you get to interact with customer that way. So DoorDash tend to be a little bit shorter distance, and especially when you get higher tier. Right now I'm silver. I hit gold once, but then when you are higher tier, which you have acceptance rate, completion rate, and customers rating, and then you get higher pay in shorter distance. So if you keep working at DoorDash, you actually get more, like, better orders. And the same as Instacart, that you have higher tier. I have about 500 batches, they say batches, 500 orders that I completed, and then you get to see, I think, earlier than other Instacart drivers that may have done less or maybe less quality or whatever the reason. But I get to see, say for instance today, like maybe just zero point 0.9 miles for $10, and then 3 items. Those are really, really gold. And then Lyft and Uber, sometimes it's tricky because sometimes people go longer distance. I've done Lyft and Uber for 11 years, and the app absolutely developed than the first time I started it. Like for instance, Lyft, Uber, both as women. Connect, which I actually kind of worked on the reels as well, that you get to match with women passengers as a female driver. And I think same as passenger side, they get to choose female driver. I ordered Uber when I was out of town, and then I saw the option of female drivers, which is good. But I just don't care. At this point, I've done it for 11 years. And then I just want to get maximized orders and then maximum money that I want to make in short amount of time. So the trick is I turn on all four apps: Instacart, DoorDash, Lyft, and Uber. So when the order comes, especially Instacart, it kind of runs in your back and you can kind of see. DoorDash has maybe like 20 to 40 seconds to accept. Lyft is the shortest. When you get the order, I mean like the request, and then if you don't accept it, it just disappears like so quickly. It doesn't give you a chance to think about it. And Uber is a little bit okay, but Uber Eats is kind of hard because sometimes I delivered sushi to all the way to Harvard, like using like highway, and it was just like too much. So, and especially think about it, when you drive like 10-20 miles, when you're coming back you don't get paid. So you basically think that if your order is like say 2 miles, that's 4 miles round trip, so you have to consider that. So I try to not take orders or you know, Lyft, Uber passenger request that's way too far. Like I live in Foxborough, which is about like 45 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on the traffic, all the way to Boston. And there's like no way I would take the ride to Boston, because if I go to Boston, it's like 30 miles that like the on the way back, I don't get paid. Lyft one time, long time ago, didn't have Uber either, like, you know, where the passengers are going. So you just accept it. And then, oh, I'm going to Connecticut. Like, are you kidding me? So it didn't give us where they're going. But now, a couple of years ago, actually 2-3 years ago, the Attorney General of Massachusetts, Miss Andrea Campbell, like won lawsuit, labor law against Uber and Lyft. So Uber and Lyft drivers in Massachusetts are guaranteed to be paid $34 an hour. $34 an hour for active time. So basically, the time that you accept the request till when you go to pick up somebody, and then when you drop, so that's called active time, where if you work actually 60 hours for Lyft, you get 20 hours, $20 for like sick pay. So it's really great. And then when they don't pay you $34 an hour, and then on Wednesday, every Wednesday, they pay you adjustment. And that's, I think tip is excluded. So anyways, it's been working pretty well. Like I said, I've done Uber and Lyft for over 11 years and zero accident. One time I got hit by this teenager who said, I didn't see your car. He backed into my car and I had to go to urgent care to replace my whole right side of the door. I got T-boned when I picked up the McDonald's and I was so traumatized. Luckily, I survived, obviously. But then what happened was there are tiers. So tiers 1, 2, 3. So when you accept the order to the restaurant, that's like stage 1, and then stage 2 is when you are waiting, and then stage 3 is to. So for instance, you accept and you go to the store, from the store, and then you basically pick up somebody. But once food or people are in your car, that's like stage 3, where insurance cannot cover. Even if you have TNT, special insurance for the stage 3, once you have passenger or food. In this case, I had a McDonald's food when the teen driver hit me. That's stage 3, where your insurance does not cover, and DoorDash had to cover. So that was kind of hard. I end up hiring a personal injury attorney for this because it got a little bit too complicated. So anyways, so that's one thing. And then obviously, there are crazy people, but a good thing about multi-app like this situation, if you don't want to deal with people, you can cut in the Uber setting, just Uber Eats. just delivery only and no passenger. So you have 100% choice to not drive people and just do food only. Obviously, Instacart is shopping only, and DoorDash started shopping. So I've done shopping. This morning, I bought a gallon of milk, and then delivered like super short distance, maybe 2 minutes drive from CVS, and then got paid maybe $4. But still, it was really quick, so that was nice. And then I had I had to buy some adult toys sometimes, and then I got to bring it like 9 a.m. It was kind of weird, but anyways, you get some interesting orders too. And then what I can't stand is when people demanded the DoorDash driver to bring their food to the hotel rooms, and I don't like it. I can just drop it to the lobby, they can come down from the fourth floor, fifth floor, but sometimes they demand because they have this required pin. And then I said, can you give me a pin, on a messenger? So, you have to give it to me. Very, very awkward. So you think that there's no drama for DoorDash and Uber, but sometimes they do. I think the worst case of DoorDash, I have to tell you, is that there's a girl. I got a Dunkin' Donuts order, and I was on the way to Dunkin', and then the third party number calls you, like 401, I don't know, California number. I don't remember the area code, but it's like a weird number, so it's not like a local number. So she called me, and I knew it was the customer. And then she said, "Excuse me, are you doing my Dunkin'?" I said, "Yes, I'm on the way." And it's like, "I think my boyfriend is cheating on me. Can you please tell me how many cars are parked when you deliver my Dunkin'?" And I said, "No, I don't. I'm not gonna do that, and I don't want to be involved in your love drama. I think you should just break up." I didn't say that, but anyways, she canceled the order when I said no. So it's not a cheat dash, guys. It's DoorDash. So we deliver food, not check on how many cars are parked, or investigate if your partner is cheating. Don't do that with DoorDash. I definitely reported her, and then maybe she should be banned for using DoorDash because it's dangerous. And then one time I dropped the food, and then apparently she wanted me to hand deliver, and she yelled at me, and then she's like, "Oh, there's roaches and mice." I'm like, okay, excuse me, I don't want to live where you are living. I don't know what kind of living situation you have, but Taco Bell, I don't think mice and cockroaches are gonna get to your Taco Bell order in within a minute. So I don't know, it's just weird. Oh, speaking of DoorDash, I didn't realize I had it on, so now it's saying I had to go to Taco Bell, but I'm just gonna decline. But here, it's $6.75. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's $6.75 for about 6 miles. So I am going to decline, but I have about 40 seconds to decide, so I'm just gonna hit decline. So I'm so sorry. I thought my apps are off, but this is how it works. So for instance, this is the Instacart. You go online, and then you see all the batches, and then you can choose whichever. And then the Uber, you can turn Uber. Oh, I think you can see. And then basically there's a Chris Brown and then Usher concert going on, so I think I'm gonna get orders soon. But there's a button here that you can see, if you don't want to deal with people, you can just cut people, so just delivery only. And then you can opt out shopping mode on the DoorDash as well, because right now DoorDash, I'm just gonna sign out, and then DoorDash gets actually really busy depending on area, but you can only dash when the area is red. I don't know if you can see a little bit. Yeah, I think you can see a little bit. So here, when it gets red and it says 3 minutes a 3 minutes wait, so I think that's accurate. And Lyft, again, you can go online right now, and then it's showing that there's an event here, which is crazy surge. There's a Lyft $10, but I don't know if I want to go to this busy area. One time I got stuck with a passenger, 2 guys in my car. I thought it was 10 minutes ride, but it was actually an hour and 15 minutes because there was a concert going on. They was stand still. And I said, guys, hey, maybe it's faster to walk to the venue than being like stand still in my car. And then they kind of refuse to get out of my car because they're, oh, I'm afraid to get hit by a car. I'm like, dude, there's no cars going, so how are you gonna get hit by a car? I don't know, but people are interesting. They actually gave me some extra cash. And I did a BTS concert Uber ride. It was crazy. Like, even after 3 hours, people couldn't find a ride. These are like young people, BTS fans. And I made super amazing money. It was like just 10 minutes ride for like $70, $80. Like, I felt really bad, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I've never seen this before. So I did a couple rides and I made a couple, $100, like 150 in like an hour too. But again, like, sometimes concerts hard because, you might get super stuck in traffic. So I don't like it. So it's definitely up to you. So I actually threw up questions because I wanted to make some longer content. I don't know who's going to watch this, but hopefully it's helpful and it's very realistic that, if you want to work here and there, you can just turn on all 4 apps. I actually tried different ones, say Amazon Flex. I hated it so much. It was way too many things. Some girls, that was like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe it improved. Some girls said it's much, much better now. So I downloaded it, but I haven't gotten it. And then this CURI, Curry Driver, I've done that before, but it's like I went to this paint store, picked up the paint, and then delivered it. But like DoorDash, Instacart, Uber, Lyft, having all these 4 major apps as a side hustle, the good thing is there is less dead time. So I turn all of them on and then pick whatever the best deal is so I can make maximum amount of money in an hour. So I would say having multiple apps is beneficial because you never know where you end up going. So for instance, if you are only relying on DoorDash, you can only go to a restaurant around where you drop the food. So it could be somewhere that is not so much restaurant around, but there are people. So there are Lyft and Uber passengers, maybe right, like, close distance from where you drop your food off. So usually I try to turn my other apps on when I'm finishing up the delivery, etc. However, sometimes when it's like super busy time, like Lyft and Uber, it gives you a queue, especially if you are driving in the city, like Boston. You just keep going and going and going, and then make sure you take a break. I tend to, like, work already a long time sometimes, but it's so nice to have sometimes Instacart break because you are in the shop and the shopping and it's kind of satisfying to find, oh, something is going, oh, Uber delivery now. Sorry, I didn't cut the app off. So now what is this one? So it says 22 minutes Wendy's. Now the Wendy's, I'm gonna decline. So Wendy's sometimes until midnight you can go in the store, but after that you cannot. So you have to go through a drive-through. Night like this, when the concert's happening, people get hungry and then they get like so like rushed to Taco Bell, Wendy's, like long line that there is like no getaway. So it is not worth the time. I think when there is like 5-10 cars going around, there is like so not worth your time for like $5, $10. You can go to a different restaurant that doesn't have a long line and then just pick up. So now finally I'm going through some questions that my friend kindly helped to ask. So let's see, which do you prefer as a partner? Which is most flexible for a person with so many different schedules to reconcile? Do they pay same? Which customers tip best? Can you range distance of your drivers? There's a lot of questions, so let's break it down. Which do you prefer as a partner? So I think there are pros and cons in all four apps, like I mentioned earlier. Like, Lyft, obviously, if you don't want to talk to people, you don't have to. So I don't do Lyft. If I want to just do food delivery, I just do DoorDash or Instacart. But if you feel lonely, you can take Lyft and Uber and then chit chat with the customer, clients. So, which is most flexible for a person with so many different schedules to reconcile. So this is again for all four apps that I'm using, that I think it's all flexible, because whenever you turn on the apps, it's available. But Instacart, especially Stop and Shop and Shaw's, they close at 10 p.m. and then people obviously have to order food. So I would say if you wake up like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., there are orders actually, and then it's definitely dies down at 9 p.m. ish. So after that, I try to focus on DoorDash and then pick up some orders, some people are hungry, doing some activities, and then just want a food. But anyways, and next question was, do they pay same? Well, I would say, again, Uber and Lyft had a lawsuit, and then I was actually part of the testimonial. I'm very proud of myself, went to State House and then really advocated with Massachusetts Coalition of Independent Driver. So I had a star speaker, 3 minutes at the State House. They'll try to unionize us. I said, no way. So anyways, I would say, besides Uber and the Lyft, which $34 an hour is guaranteed, I would say Instacart and DoorDash, if you maximize, pick the order that's, for instance, Instacart, less distance, less item, and the store that you really know well. I know Stop and Shop really well. I know Shaw's really well. I don't know Roche's Brother well. Or BJ's or Costco. It's way too big, and then it takes so much time. And sometimes they don't let you self-check out at Costco, which is very frustrating. So I don't really want to go to Costco for Instacart. So I would say you could make really good money if you know the store and choose the one that's super short distance, and then you can see that right away on the Instacart apps. Again, DoorDash, if you get higher tier, even say this is a store and 2, 3, 5 minutes away, you might get paid $10. So I haven't done an hourly exactly, but I would say really depend on how you pick the order, and you can always decline that if you don't want to. So that's a good thing. It's Instacart, you don't have to tap to accept, so you can always do that. Which customers tip best? I have absolutely no idea. One time I got $250 tip. That's Venmo, rare, absolutely rare. One time I got $100 cash, which is rare. Sometimes people give you a cash, $20 cash. And Instacart, I got $50 tip. One time I did DoorDash and Christmas. I got $50 tip. I got $35 tip. It could be sometimes it's raining, maybe customers' mood. I have no idea. And sometimes you don't expect some people to give me this much tip. I don't know. It just, you never know. I did $5 Lyft, just from commuter rail station to a house, just 3 minutes, and then it's $3-4 for Lyft, $5 maybe, but I got $10 tip, so it ended up being $15 ride for 5 minutes. So that was so amazing. So you never know. For Instacart, you can see right away how much tip is included. So let's see. Instacart, yes, the tip's included. DoorDash, yes, the tip is included. Instacart, the customer can actually decrease the tip, which kind of is really annoying. Um, Sometimes, like, when the store is missing the item, which is not my fault that they don't like it and they just like decrease the tip. I just don't know why, but anyways, so that's one thing. And I would say Lyft and Uber, it's hit or miss because some people never tip, some people might tip. So Lyft, Uber, passenger, Uber Eats is tip is included. But what's annoying is when you finish Uber Eats and you see like $2, but then later the tip would come like to $10 or something. When you accept the order, if it's $10, I don't know why Uber does this, but when you complete, it doesn't show $10. Like the $8 for tip, right? But then Instacart, it's right away the tips included. So it's very weird. Like, I wish Uber does that because it's less confusing. So can you vary range distance of your drivers? Uh, I would say because you know exactly like where it's going. So thank you for this question. So another question that I have from my friend. Okay, what you mentioned about using them at the same time, I would like to know more details. Do you mean that you have them turned on at the same time? Yes. And does that affect your acceptance rate? So again, that one is particularly for DoorDash. Well, Uber, Lyft, it does, but like DoorDash is kind of annoying in that way. Like, every time you decline because of the distance, because like today I declined and I actually reached out to DoorDash customer service because there's a concert going on and there's a strip of Route 1 where they have Chick-fil-A, they have a ton of restaurants that I usually can go, but now when it's concert, there's restriction, the left turn, you cannot even cross, and then obviously you get stuck on the traffic. So why would I go there? So why do I have to get my acceptance rate lower because of it? So I did explain, please don't affect my acceptance rate. So it does affect, but again, like, you have a choice and it's not the end of the day. So that's my answer. And it is giving ride to passengers a lot more profitable than delivering food. Now, Uber, again, is $34 an hour guaranteed, either food or passenger. And also, I would say sometimes DoorDash, because again, if you get to higher tier like silver, right now I'm silver, or maybe gold, I hit gold one time, then you are offered shorter distance, higher pay a lot. So you can actually make good money doing DoorDash, like, if you really focus. But again, make sure you take a break, you get out, stretch your feet, and then, if you have to pull over somewhere and just rest, do rest, because it can get tiring. It can get like really frustrating sometimes. Before I forget my train of thoughts. So one time I was doing Uber and I just pulled over some random parking lot. The business is closed and a cop came and it kind of kicked me out from the parking lot, which I understand because business is closed. Like, why am I there, right? So make sure when you want to rest, you can go to 24 hours gas station and just chill a little bit. Just, stretch your leg, like, just get out of the car, get some drink, water, whatever, snack. Hotels sometimes, when you deliver, or residential, like apartment, not residential, like apartment complex, you can definitely chill. Oh my gosh, you just have to know where you can kind of get rest. And then I just don't like, obviously, like, some suburb and then just like, street, like, it can get dangerous. So, it's not even with the full apps, especially in the suburb, it's not the 100% of the time that you are always like, getting orders, and you don't want to take orders, like, you sometimes want to rest. So definitely go to some place that's safe to park and then rest. Let me see, is giving right position. Okay, what are the pros and cons And any tips on interacting with passengers, expectation, boundaries, etc.? Have you ever felt unsafe, uncomfortable giving a passenger a ride? Yes. If so, what did you do? Well, you know what? I did report to Uber, and then you can rate them as a driver, as a kind of a coalition. Like, definitely rate the driver low so that driver won't have access to, Uber anymore. And then definitely there's 911 feature, but also safety is really good on Uber and Lyft. They like really block people, even DoorDash. If you report somebody that made you feel uncomfortable, you will never be matched. I had this guy who asked me to like turn the light on and turn my face to him, like, you look pretty. So I'm like, dude, I just want to make money and go home. I did have some incidents that I definitely felt unsafe, but I'm pretty good at like assessing and then kind of like, distracting them and stuff. A lot of, drunk people, which I understand, and then they should not be, you know, drinking and driving. So it's a good choice to use Uber and Lyft when you are drunk. And then some people who are absolutely responsible, they go to the restaurant knowing fully that they're gonna get drunk, and then want to use Uber Lyft service, which I definitely understand. But there are some people who I had to pull over, and then just like they had to like throw up or something. Is really bad. Sometimes I had to. One time I had a girl that I'm like, no, you have to get on my car. So I finished the call, the ride in the middle of the road because I just couldn't do it. But it was my fault. Like just try to not drink way too much to the point that you have to like not be able to continue or hold it together. So anyways, a lot of hit-ons, like just uncomfortable, but just no boundary. I'm like single, but like I always like, yeah, I am married, or like I have a boyfriend, I have a girlfriend, whatever the tactic that you use, just make it up, and then just try to not let people cross the boundary. So, and again, Uber and Lyft is all the apps actually, they do have a great team. One time I had like 3 mothers and 5 children come in my car, and my cab is 4 people. There's way beyond the capacity of my car. And then the mom started to breastfeed. There are infants, no car seat. I said, no, I'm not taking anywhere. This is illegal. I did contact Uber, and it's not just, the guy hitting on you or anything. This is like, and then they said, why can't you drive us? I'm like, first of all, it's over the capacity. And next, you don't have car seat for your infant. And then, if I get hit by a car, I am responsible for you and getting injured. And then I probably will lose the license, and it's not fun. And also, one thing I don't like is passenger driver. One time I have a passenger who asked me to U-turn. Again, is that way. But there's like double lane that I should not U-turn. So I'm like, are you saying that I should illegal U-turn right now? No, I won't do that. I will go straight and then go into the parking lot where it's safe, and then back up 3-point turn or turn around and then go back. So just relax. So, there are people who are passenger drivers. Sometimes they ask you to go this way, but the Uber is suggesting this way. So I'm like, I think we should stick to this way, because Uber and Lyft, they do alert you when you are off the course, which is great safety feature. And, sometimes they demand, like, go faster. I'm like, no, I am not getting speed ticket because of what, $5, $10. So you definitely have to be firm. I had a passenger who wanted to vape in my car. I had a guy who vaped, and I was like, no, you cannot vape in my car, because first of all, like, it stinks, and then some passenger, the next passenger could absolutely report me that I was like high or whatever, or smoking. I don't know. It's just like I don't understand. So yeah, you just have to gauge. And then I've done it so long, and then luckily, like, so far, like you can see, I'm okay. So yeah, definitely. I definitely had some incident. And I had a guy who asked me like, "Do you eat dog or rats?" And then that's like a completely another story, and then prejudice and biases. I'm like, no. And then people ask me, "Are you Indian?" Like, no, I'm not Indian. Like, no, people just like ask weird questions. Like, do you speak Chinese? Yeah, I don't speak Japanese. No, Japan and China are the same country. No, dude, I don't know what to tell you, but I don't speak Chinese. So we definitely have interesting conversation, and I do have lovely conversations too. Like, some of the people, like, just brain dump on me because I would never see them, and then just maybe feel comfortable telling their life stories, and they cry in my car, and then like, I listen like a therapist. So, driver, counselor, whatever, like, whatever you want to call the role, I'm happy with it. All right, what's the next question? Okay, did you ever have a longer than expected ride or delivery that affected your ability to pick up your kids on time? I did actually. So I had to tell them I am not going upstairs to fifth floor, sixth floor. I'm just gonna leave at the lobby because I am gonna be late for the pickup time. But I can usually gauge, but sometimes, like say Instacart, like when you cannot find items, and then it takes longer than expected. Yes, that definitely happened. So try to not take the order. Like if you know you have to go somewhere, and obviously it's 100% in your control, you don't have to take the order, right? So that's like you just gauge. And then how did you navigate that? Yeah, definitely, Cole. Do you take any snacks with you but keep you energized? Yeah, so like sometimes I have like Starbucks, and then I have like water, I have like chips, sometimes I munch or like um stop somewhere and just like walk around. So that's kind of like tip. Yeah, definitely banana or whatever you can do. Yeah, definitely. Those are good questions. Thank you so much. And what other things, tools, activities, mental exercise help you keep your mind right and your body healthy while you're managing everything? Um, you know what? I say I like taking karate class, and I like doing volleyball, like beach tennis, some activities. I like singing, I like playing music. So I definitely hustle, I definitely grind, and I definitely love my activities. And I would say, like, the beauty of doing this app is you can stop anytime. You can work as many hours as you want, and then um, just do whatever you can, and then just try to not push way too much. And then I would set my goal $100 a day, and if I cannot make $100 a day, it's not the end of the world. Maybe tomorrow I will make 120, right? So yeah, like try to not pressure yourself, but at the same time it's nice to have kind of like targeted goals that, hey, I know this is only $5, or $10, but if you do it like 10 rides, right, 10 deliveries, then it would go to $100. And then again, you don't have to drive consecutive 8 hours. It could be like, say, I did say 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., 2 hours or so, took a break, and then I did maybe 3 to 4 or something, and took a break, and I did like 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. and took a break, and I already made $100. So yeah, you definitely can make $100 a day, easy, definitely. Yeah, so choose the best order. And again, once you turn on your apps, take the one that you like to do, the most efficient, less distance, less work for you. Once you accept, for instance, DoorDash, go to all the apps and turn them off. Once you're done, turn them all up again. But again, Instacart, you can be running underneath, and you can see as you go to different places that it pops up like a different shops. So I know I talked so much, but I hope this helps. And I really hope that, if you're interested in like learning more about the gig work, definitely comment, and then I'll try to answer. My Instagram, Facebook, you can find me Juri Love. My Instagram is Juri, Juri Panda, and then I'm pretty good at responding. So anyways, hope this helps. And then, if you're a single parent or whoever, whatever the situation, just keep it going and you're gonna be okay. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope this is somewhat helpful, somewhat realistic, and thank you.